Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Panic Bros, and it's only me, Josue. Simon is not here, but I am right here in the Gun Hill Tavern in the South Bronx at an event by a good friend of ours named Rosa, Collaborative Conscious on Instagram. She put together a little event for a bunch of us in this little nerd geeky scene to kind of be together and kind of express ourselves. And I'm here as the Panic Bros talking with a special guest, ElectroCosplay. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So the first question I want to kind of ask you, we're going to be just like talking about all of our guests today, kind of just like getting to know them a little bit better and what they do, and kind of like giving them that avenue to express their passion through this episode. So I just want to kind of ask you, like, you know, what it is you do, and we can go from there.
I've been cosplaying for almost 10 years. It's going to be 10 years
10
next
years.
year. Yes.
Wow.
And I usually just cosplay as my favorite anime, video game characters, movie characters too. I've been moving into making my own designs recently.
Wow.
This one, for example, is like a medieval-inspired costume that I made for a medieval festival. And I'm moving into trying to become a designer for like movie and like for theater and things like that too.
Well, that's fantastic. What made you get into this in the first place?
Into cosplay?
Yeah.
I actually first saw something about Kingdom Hearts and I had no idea what it was.
Kingdom Hearts is the
And
best
then
series ever.
I went into YouTube to look about like what this is, and then I just stumbled into people cosplaying from Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, what is all of this? And then I just fall into that hole of looking at both things at the same time, becoming a Kingdom Hearts fangirl and a cosplay like enthusiast, all in one at the same time, all together.
Yeah. What was your favorite character? Like, what was the character that made you like inspire you?
When I first started getting into Kingdom Hearts, they were just getting ready to release Birth by Sleep. So
that was about 10 years ago.
yeah,
God,
and then like Birth by Sleep wasn't even out in Japan, and I saw like stuff about Aqua, and I actually wanted to do Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora with the Halloween Town outfit, but
that's a lot of work.
I was a young girl, first outfit.
Yeah,
Parents didn't really want that to be happening at all. So then when I saw Aqua, I was like, maybe this is something I can get them on board with. And then I just started like looking at the pictures, and I made my first Aqua outfit, which looks horrible. I didn't know how to sew, I didn't know how to make props, I didn't know how to make anything. It took me a year to put it together. By the time I put it together, the game was already out in Japan and in the US.
Oh my God. But did you like go to any conventions with that outfit on?
No. I just went to school for the Halloween thing with it.
You gotta start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and then I took some pictures at home and stuff like that. So like it took until I was in college to start going to conventions and things like that. But I remade Aqua recently when the 0.2 came out, and I was like, maybe I should try to remake this to do it justice.
Oh my God.
So I remade her, and it looks a lot better this time. There's still like a lot of things I would improve on it.
So like, how do you feel like looking at that first costume? If you have any pictures of it or whatever?
I do.
Compared to what you made. What 0.2 dropped about
a year ago or so, like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah. Like, how do you feel like looking at the difference and like how much you progressed?
Well, the fact that the first one, I didn't know how to sew anything, so like the shirt was literally a shirt that I took and cut the back off of it. And then like shorts were just shorts that I bought, and then like for the straps on the side, I just took old curtains and cut them apart, and then that's it. No hemming, no nothing. That's it. And then like for the wig, it's just like whatever Halloween store has right now, chop it up, and then that's it. So versus me later on knowing like how to make my own pattern, knowing how to like stitch everything, and then like the color is more accurate, because before it was just like whole black shirt everything. This time's like it has the blue part and then the black part for the corset, so it's a very big improvement.
Right.
Though there's still things that I would improve in the end.
And you kind of chose a really hard series to kind of cosplay. It's not just any character that has a simple outfit. Like,
it was hard, because then there's like the costume, and then there's the wig is weird, and then you have a big prop, and then you have those weird pointy shoes,
Yes,
and then
that's
like
way too big, like size 50 shoes.
I did make the shoes on the first and on the second time, and like, first of all, my paint choice on the first time was awful because I used metal paint that I bought at Home Depot that it's made for painting fences. And so like that just melted the foam all together and smelled awful, but I made it. And then like for the second time, then it's better. It's a lot better fitting on the second time.
Oh my god. That sounds like a struggle. That sounds like a struggle.
Cosplay struggle.
Yeah,
So
I
the
can
first
imagine.
time.
I've always wanted to cosplay, but that hasn't happened yet. But like I've always wanted to like I admire cosplayers like you because you create your own costume. I just wanted to just buy the costume like online. Like I wanted to like go to RPC Studio. Shout out to them because I wanted to make like Miles Morales, Spider-Man for Comic-Con. I'm like, I don't got the body yet for that. I'm trying to slim down and shed a couple more pounds for
That's
that.
fine. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable wearing like anything that's like spandex and tight, there's like a lot of undergarments you can wear, like Benzer belts for men and all of that. So like, you don't feel like there's just your skin and then that very thin layer of fabric. So like it helps because then you can wear something else. You don't feel as naked.
Oh my god, I do not want to go to Comic-Con with any
exposed.
Nothing exposed. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. No, but yeah. So talk to me about like other like cosplays. Like what was like some of the harder, I guess, what would like cosplays or uniforms or anything that you've done? Like what was some of the harder ones that you've done? Like when you try to cosplay as any character.
The most time-consuming was one that I made inspired on a fan art that I saw of Hatsune Miku that had like a whole flower train on the back. That was the most time-consuming thing because I had to individually make the flowers just because I could not afford to buy. I think I used 6,000 flowers for that. So there was no way I could afford to buy 6,000 flowers.
Actual flowers, like actual.
No, they're fake flowers, soap flowers. So there was no way that I could afford to buy 6,000 soap flowers. Like usually if you go to a craft store, they're like $6 for $5 or so. So I'm like, I can't afford that. So I had to buy flower lays and individually make each one of the flowers because then like I already have the shape cut out for me. So then I just have to like turn them into actual 3D flowers. So that was the most time-consuming one. In terms of difficulty, I'm not sure. Like it depends because like last year I made Sweetheart Sona from League of Legends. So the prop was definitely like the most difficult thing that I've made to date. I made two versions of the prop, one for August and one for November. The one in August, I made it carving out of expansion foam that you can get on the hardware store. And I don't have space to actually carve things. So me and Steven actually had to carve it in the bathroom, taking turns on sweating in the middle of the summer in the bathroom with no AC and a kitchen knife on top of the sink to cut all the foam into the shape. So the issue with that, even though like kind of looks nice and all, was the fact that it became too heavy by the time we were done, because we're not talking about a harp that's this big, we're talking a harp that is, you can't see on the camera anymore, like literally like this big. And so it ended up weighing like 50 pounds or so. And then I had to make a cart to carry it. And then I took it to Liberty City Anime Con. And on the next day, I couldn't even move my hand like this much because I'm like, my arms are so sore.
Were you dragging it everywhere? Or
I could drag it. At home, it works perfectly because our floors are wood. But at the con, it was carpet. And then I could not move it at all. So now I was stuck with this heavy harp plus this heavy metal cart that I made for it. And then I was just like, I have to remake this. So for Anime NYC, I remade the harp, and now it's like 6 feet wide.
Oh, wow.
And it's made out of cardboard, EVA foam, and to keep it from crushing itself, since it's hollow inside, instead of having expansion foam like the other one, I use popsicle sticks. So it weighs a lot less. It weighs about like 20 pounds or so, but it's killer on the shoulders because the outfit has like naked shoulders. So then I have these straps that are like just holding
yourself up.
I'm just holding 20 pounds on my neck.
You're going home with like 0 HP at the end of the day. Like.
Yes. It's 0 HP all the way. So I managed to get LEDs into that incorporated. It has like LEDs for the strings. It has LEDs underneath to change color based like, how different skills she uses has different colors. And that was it. So I had to remake it twice, but it was the most difficult thing I've made to date.
I mean, you're dedicated, you're passionate. I admire that because that sounds like a...
And keep in mind, I'm only 5'4" high, and that thing is like 6 feet wide.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Would you say though that you said that this was for Liberty City Anime Con, right? The work that you did for this con, was it like the hardest you went for a convention or what?
It was a combination of that and Anime NYC because I knew I couldn't finish everything perfectly the way I wanted to for Liberty City. So then I just added more detail, refined the inside stitching and stuff like that for Anime NYC and remade the whole prop. So it was like the hardest costume that I've done that it took me like the entire summer plus the entire fall pretty much to be able to finish.
I feel like people don't understand or don't realize the amount of time that it takes for some cosplayers to make what they do. Like you just go to these conventions. Like I go to New York Comic Con almost every year, and when I go and I see these amazing cosplayers, and I'm just like, I don't really think about like, oh wow, you're probably making this for a year. I've seen some amazing Iron Man cosplays. I've seen some amazing, I don't know, like just the wildest stuff. You know what I mean? You've seen amazing cosplays too. I know you have. And like, I just don't realize that. Like, and for you to say like it took you an entire summer just to make this one item.
Like my 2014, the live action Cinderella dress, I made it myself too. But then again, I don't have the budget to go to the fabric store and just buy 11 different types of fabric in an absurd amount of yardage. So it took me since the movie was announced.
You had like mice helping you out.
If only I had mice. So what happened was I had to start buying the fabric when they first announced the movie, and I got interested.
Before even any casting was announced?
No, when they first announced like pictures of the dress.
Oh, okay.
Because like without the pictures of the dress, I wouldn't know what to buy.
That makes so much more
sense. So when they first announced like with images of the dress, so I kind of could see what the colors were like, I started buying fabric strategically when they would go on sale, because that is very expensive fabric. So whenever they would go on sale, I would buy and buy and buy and buy until I got to the point that I had like 5 file boxes worth of fabric in there just for that. And I was like, I'm gonna make this now. So I think it was in 2016 I made the dress. So that was like about 3 years of buying and stacking fabric to then make the dress. And personally, I would have wanted to have more fabric into it to give it like more volume, more poof, but there's a point that you get to like, I just been like saving so much to make this thing, and I've wanted to make this thing for so long, I have to cut it off and just make it now, or else it's gonna drive me crazy.
I have no words.
A lot of time goes into planning all of those costumes. Like, it's easy for people to see like, oh, so-and-so is wearing such thing at the convention, I want it too. Or, you go and see the same person wearing the same thing 2 or 3 times, and you go like, they only have that thing, they always wear it. But when you spend the amount of time that you do on getting the thing together, you kind of want to get the most you can out of it.
So I just want to ask you like one last question. Like, what's like, well, a couple last questions maybe. But like, what's your dream like character or anything to cosplay as? Like, what is something that you're probably like striving towards right now?
Saying like that I have a specific dream costume, it's hard at this point because I have worked in over 70 cosplays all in total over 10 years. So it's kind of hard, like, because Cinderella was a dream costume, so I already made her. Sona was a dream costume, and I made her last year. Saber was a dream costume a while back. I also made her. So I think that moving forward, I would want to go into making armor, because that's something I usually like stick to only making small amounts. Because you know how small New York apartments are, and like I can't spray paint on my apartment either. My landlord would go nuts.
Legally, you can't.
No, it's just that apartments are small, and I have 2 cats, so you don't want to spray paint. And then like if the landlord finds out and you damage something, there goes my security deposit too. So I think like moving forward, I would want to learn to do armor, but again, there's like the cost of it, that it's too much, like compared to my fabric works.
Right.
Storage for it is worse because it's harder to keep all of that.
Do you still have every single cosplay that you have?
I did sell one. But I still have all the other ones, and I have stuff that I've worked on and never worn for some reason.
Really?
Yes, because for some reason or another, I didn't like one thing or another of the costume, and then I go like, I don't want to wear this right now, so like they just stay in the closet for a while. But yeah.
So like, so this one last question, like, what's like the future? What's the goal? Yeah, the ultimate goal of ElectroCosplay as a brand, I guess. Like, what would you love to see as a brand? Yeah, you're branding yourself.
As a brand, I mean, I would love if I had more opportunity, like to go to more conventions, because right now I only do stuff locally. So I've started being a judge last year. So like this year I was a judge for Liberty City Anime Con instead of competing like I did the year before.
Cool.
I've been a judge for International Cosplay Day. I've been a judge for other like smaller events. So I think like maybe getting to be a judge someday at something like New York Comic Con or Anime NYC would be like a top goal type of thing. Or maybe as a competitor, if I were to get to like the World Cosplay Summit or the Crown Championship. But then again, for those things, like I would have to do some traveling to be able to get to that level.
Thankfully, we're in a city that has a lot of like varied conventions, at least for the time being. So like, it isn't the worst place to be. It isn't the worst place to be. Thank you so much for being a part of this. ElectroCosplay, everybody. Thank you so much, and yeah, just make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on any platform that you're on, and make sure to follow. I'll like put it like right here. Yeah, put it right there. ElectroCosplay. Make sure to follow her and give her some love as well. Support her and her dreams and her goal of being a judge at New York Comic Con. Make it happen. Thank you guys so much.
Request to Comic Con.
Exactly. Thank you and take care, and we'll see you soon.